We love bond ladders for producing income in retirement. Why is that? We'll talk about that on today's episode of Friends Talk Financial Planning. Hi, I'm John Shear, and I run a fee-only financial planning practice in Middleton, Wisconsin.
And I'm Bridget Sullivan-Mermel, and I've got a fee-only financial planning practice in Chicago, Illinois. Before we go any further, let's ask people to subscribe. It helps us on YouTube and helps you get notified before upcoming episodes. So, John, let's talk bond ladders.
Yeah, it's something
I use all the time.
Yeah, it's something that's out there, and maybe people have heard about it, but the way that you and I use it, I think, is different than most. And maybe we should start by explaining how we use bond ladders. You want to maybe get into some of the details on that?
Let's do it first, and then we'll talk about like how it plays out.
Yeah,
so
great.
Nuts and bolts of it is when people are retiring and they've got a big an IRA and they've got a bunch of money in their IRA, they're going to need income. They're going to want to be able to depend on their income. So we want to know it's guaranteed income, safe, and it's not going anywhere, right? It's not going up and down. It's going to pay out on a specific day, and we know exactly how much that's going to be. And that's what U.S. Treasury strip does for you. So you buy a strip at, say, 80, and then it says, okay, in 7 years, we're going to pay you 100.
Yeah.
And in the interim, the income builds up in the bond ladder. And again, we like U.S. Treasury strips. And you can buy these. We often buy them through Schwab. So you can buy them on Schwab, and we set the date. And again, it's Treasury strip, and we like those because those are ones where again, you buy it for a lower price, and it pays out again how much your cash flow is going to be on that set date. So we usually have them set up so that they mature on specific days in the future. So November 15th, 2027, November 15th, 2028, November 15th, 2029. So we have it set up so that each year on that specific date, you get paid out the amount, and that gets just deposited directly into your account.
Yep. No, I love I just want to pull out a couple of things there, Bridget. One is that guaranteed idea of things, right? And so the things that we use, similar to you, Treasury strips, right? They're backed by the government, right? The government can raise taxes, guaranteed no matter what happens. We'll use some CDs as well in their FDIC insured, right? Guaranteed, these things that are, super low risk type things. And the focus for us is and I'm sure for you, it's on return of your money, not return on your money, right? Like, yeah, we still want to get good interest rates and things, but the idea, and you just described, like, that's exactly what we do, is listen, in 5 years, when you need X number of dollars to be able to spend that year, it's going to show up guaranteed by the government in your checking account, right? Like that sort of security. Bert Whitehead, a friend of both of ours, says safety trumps yield when it comes to this. And that is just totally true, is how I look at it. And we describe it to people, like people are familiar with CDs. And so I'll describe it and say it's just like buying a series of 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year CDs. But instead of getting interest off that each year, like you described, right? It's, you buy it at a lower rate and the interest sort of builds up inside.
Right.
So that's exactly how we take a look at it as well.
We use CDs as well, but we usually use CDs for years 1 through 5. And sometimes those are in the retirement accounts and sometimes not. That just depends on the client's total situation. But the only reason we do CDs versus the Treasury strips is because of the rates. Right. The prevailing rates on CDs have been higher for quite some time. That doesn't mean that they'll always be higher, but it's only based on the rates. It's not because of any other reason.
Right.
So we look at the rates and we say, okay, CDs are higher, then we're buying CDs. If things change and the treasuries were paying higher, we'd switch over to short-term treasuries.
Yep. Yep. I was just explaining this. Actually, we are talking with a client who's getting ready to retire in a few years. And one of the analogies that I use, I've shared it with you before, I know, is the idea of, your investments, your financial life being kind of like a farmer, being a farmer, right? When your crops out in the field, if you're raising corn or beans, that's where you make money. And that's also where you take risk for floods and droughts, right? And then when you've got bumper years and your garden grows, you don't just sell all that stuff. You put some applesauce and some pickles in your pantry, right? And that's where that bond ladder comes in for us. And I think the same for you is that's the stuff where how are your pickles growing in your pantry? Well, that's not, nobody ever asked that same sort of concept. Like, we're not looking for growth in that bond ladder, but golly, when things are bad, when whatever's going on, inflation or war or different things happening, like, no, we got our pickles to eat. We don't have to worry about eating for 5, 10, 15 years, that sort of thing, right?
Exactly. So it's not that we don't invest in any stocks when people are retired or near retirement. It's that we like to guarantee the next 15 years of income. And then we feel free because the next 15 years are guaranteed to go ahead and invest in stocks. And then what happens is if the stock prices go up, we sell some stocks and buy additional rungs in the bond ladder. If got stocks go in the years of stocks go down, then we just use the rung on the bottom ladder. So there's a constant cycle as you get older, but you always have 15 years that's guaranteed that is safe. So when the stock market tanks, you're like, okay, great. I still have money here. So one of the things that I like about this is that when the stock market goes down, it protects our clients and it protects us this. Gee whiz, look at this. I know I can wait this out. I don't have to sell anything because I've got all this bond ladder here and I know my income's going to be fine for the next 15 years.
Right. And that, I tell that story all the time with clients for us that back in 07, 08, 09, when the credit crisis hit and everything was going crazy on things, and like none of our clients were happy, right? Like nobody's excited about it.
Right.
But our retired folks weren't worried about where their cash flow was going to come from, right? They weren't concerned because we had this long runway to go, well, listen, let things shake out. And who knows if things, continue bad for 5 years, we'll have to make some decisions, but we don't have to panic, right? You've got that sense of security, that sense of peace of mind. And one of the things that we really like about it is just that you can see, we have a spreadsheet, I'm sure you have a similar thing, but here's this rung of the ladder, this CD or this treasury that comes due, and here's this one. And I can tell you in 2027, here's where the money's going to come from, guaranteed, that you can live on. And I mean, you can almost visibly see people relax going, oh yeah, that's what I'm looking, right? Geez, I don't have to worry about what's going on with inflation. I mean, maybe we'll have to worry about it, right? But not today. We got 5, 10, 15 years to figure that out, sort of a thing. And go, oh yeah, we'll kind of, that sense of peace of mind and calm is really huge. And so I've experienced it, going through those things. And we haven't seen that. We've had some bumps in the road and different things like that, right? But we haven't seen that in, darn near 15 years. And when that comes in, though, when we have that downside protection, it's just such a comforting thing, and the ability to stick to the plans we've made. Right? It all sounds good until we forget what happened back in 08. Not only was the market down, unemployment was at double digits for the first time in 30 years. Right? The oldest bank in America went out of business. I mean, it wasn't just the market's down. It was, is the world ending financially, sort of a feeling. And you go, listen, as long as the United States is still a country, we've got cash coming in for you. You go, oh yeah, this is kind of a bummer, but we're not panicking, sort of a feeling on things, right? So
I love the bonds like pickles. It's like, these are not fancy. You can, they're there.
Yeah.
They stick around and they're good in the pantry for the long term, and they're there. That's what you want from this.
I'll tell you one other thing that just popped into my head on this, just in thinking about that with because we're talking about, hey, interest rates aren't the most important thing, but let's figure out they're still important. We're not focusing on the pickles for growth, but golly, it'd be nice if they multiplied in there, right? And going back to that 2007, 8, 9 timeframe, I remember just before that buying some bond ladders for clients who were retiring. And back then, the longer term rates, and I can't remember if it was 8 or 10 or 12-year bonds, were paying 5% interest. And today you think 5%, holy moly, right? Back then it was like, this is as low as they've been in 30 years. Like, really? We're going to lock money away for 12 years at 5%? What? This is crazy. And, you know, for the reasons we just described, the safety trumps yield. No, we need to have these guarantees in there. And it was sort of like, okay, let's hold our noses and buy these because these things are really stinky, you know. And of course, 5 years later, 10 years later, you go, why didn't we buy more of those at 5%? Right. You know, it's always, and the same thing today with what the 10-year treasury at 2.5 or whatever it is. You go, oh, we're going to lock money away for 10 years at that. But shoot, if interest rates go down, having that protection, it's just this consistency is really important. And I know that some people think about that in today's, you know, low interest rate environment, but man, it was too low at 5%. It was too low at 2%. It's just, it's the philosophy. It's this plan works, right? So,
And it helps your emotional peace of mind. So it really is a peace of mind enhancer, and the rates always seem low.
yeah,
Always
right.
low, and it always seems like they're going to be higher in the future, but they can go lower.
Right. Right, exactly. Well, I think that's maybe a great place to wrap things up as far as why we love bond ladders. And if you're, you know, if you're looking for guaranteed cash flow in retirement, right, as you make this transition from earning an income then to spending money the rest of your life, using a bond ladder and the way that we talking about it for guaranteed cash flow, that's something that really is something I think should be on everybody's agenda as they start to approach and get into retirement.
Well, to wrap it up, I'm Bridget Sullivan-Mermel, and this is John Shear. We're both proud members of ACP, or the Alliance of Comprehensive Planners. We mentioned that before, started by Burt Whitehead. If you like bond ladders and what we're talking about, members of ACP think a lot like on these matters. Not everybody does bond ladders, but most do. And so
Most do.
find an advisor in your area by looking at acplanners.org.
That's right. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks, Bridget. Until next time.
Bye-bye.